Welcome to the QUIKREP report execution tutorial. Select the target file from the data file drop-down, and we're going to take the shipment analysis current file, and the function we want is report, and then we're going to select our familiar video example. This is the report that the specifications were generated in the two report generation tutorials. So now, to begin our execution process, we're going to generate a sample report, which we click on the button that is in the menu at the bottom. And the first thing we're requested is to enter the parameters that were set up as inline prompts in our report. And we're going to take the start date as October 1st, 2011, and the end date of the report is going to be October 31st, 2011. And once we've entered those, we simply click Execute Report. There's a little message and a slight delay, and that report is generated quite quickly as it's only going off 100 records, as you can see here at the bottom, in order to give you a sample idea of what the report's going to look like. Now, it looks really good. We're happy with the heading and the fields that are coming out. The only issue is that we have a weight and total column here that's printing out, and then a weight and total column with summaries at the bottom. And the reason why that's coming out is we have requested these two fields to be displayed on the report, but then we've also done summaries on them, and that's a redundancy. You don't need to do both. So what we can do is go back and go to our display attributes and delete each one of these from the display, and then we can count on the fact that they're in. Well, first of all, what we want to do is we want to update the record. Well, we did do that, okay. So the second thing we want to go is over to the subtotals here, and you'll see that on this specification we've put in the weight and total. So if we generate our sample report again, you'll notice also that the parameters that we've entered as inline prompts are still sitting there. So we can change them, or we can just leave them as they were. We're going to generate our sample report again, and we should see that the two extraneous columns of branch freight, of weight and total, have been removed. So we've got a little more compact report, and we still have the totals. We still have those fields and the totals at the bottom. Okay, so we're satisfied now after looking at our sample report that that's what we want to do. So we simply go back again to our QUIKREP specification page, to the menu at the bottom, and we click on the Execute Report. And again, it brings us up the inline prompts, and we're happy with that. We're going to go with the same range, and so we simply click Execute. Now at this point it says to us, you can display this thing down here as we did before. You can email it, or you can print it. If you print it, you can select the printer here, of which they have 3 in this case, or you can and of course you may want to specify a report name that's different than what the name of the actual request is. You can also, if you're going to email it, you can put the name of the person or persons that you want to email it to in that field, and you can give it a subject and put in some email text if you so desire, if you're going to email it. In this case, what we're going to do is simply display the report, and again, it's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit more time, because of course it's going in the entire file rather than just looking at the sample records. But it should give us the actual report, and here it is, that we're going to be eventually sending out to those people that requested it. And you can see that there's a lot more records being selected. If you go to the bottom, it's 466 records rather than the 100 that we looked at before. That's the idea, though, is that we were able from the sample to get an idea what we were going to get here before we did it. Now we'll go back to the options again. And if we are to send it to the printer, we've already set our printer up, or if we're going to email it, in this case we're going to send it to the printer. We've already selected our printer, so we're going to click Print Report. It does a little preparation, and we have to wait until that's complete. And then it will give us a message saying that it's sending this report. And in doing that, it allows us to then return. We do not have to wait until the report has been printed, but rather we simply go back to our QUIKREP specifications. Here's our message that's indicating that the report's going to be sent to the EREP printer, and also a button to allow us to return to the specifications page. We can do the email from here, display it again, or we can simply close this and return this back to QUIKREP specifications. Now, upon reviewing this report, we decide that we'd like to have another report, but one that's just slightly different. And instead of modifying our report using that, in which case if we wanted to go back and run it again, we'd have to modify it back. We have a capability here in the main menu that allows us to copy a report. And if we click the button here, it displays the name of the existing report. It says, put a little slightly different name at least, or whatever name you want in there, and click it, and it will create this report. Okay, now we're still on the report that we've been working on here, video example. So if we want to change it to that one, we can go up here and select that one. Now we can change this report. For example, if we wanted to do a slightly different selection, if we wanted to do outbound shipments instead of inbound shipments, and then update that record, then if we wanted to change the header footer, to outbound, then that would better identify what the report was, and we'll update that as well. Let's go back to that selection and make sure we did update that. I'm pretty sure we did, but I want to be safe. Yeah, we did change it to an O, so it's changed. So if we run that report now, in fact, let's just run that sample report and see what. Of course, it's going to require us to enter because it's a new report, we have to put in the inline prompts again. And we'll put in 11 on these. So we have exactly the same specifications, just to see what we might get if we did the outbound reports. And there we have it. And you'll notice at the bottom here we're 100 records listed, but of course they're quite different records because they're the outbound records. And so in effect then we have two reports in here that either the video example or the video example 2, which we can now use and not have to modify either one in the future. There's also additional features available with QUIKREP that can't really be incorporated without diminishing the effectiveness of the training tutorial. A simple rule of thumb is, if there is something you have not been able to accomplish with QUIKREP, or you have any question with the tutorials or help that the tutorials or help does not answer, please contact the support desk. This completes the QUIKREP report execution tutorial.